Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this cute outdoor placemat. This fabric can be purchased at your local craft store. Here are the supplies that you'll need for the project. I'll be using the Silhouette Studio software to design the project, but any graphics program will do. A 100% polyester fabric suitable for outside use, sublimation printer, heat press, a digital design, a rotary cutter, and a ruler. Here's a closer look at the fabric I'll be using today. I did purchase it from Joann Fabrics as a remnant. It's listed as 100% polyester, 54-inch wide, 800 UV hours, and it says to vacuum or spot clean with a water-based agent. And it does have a nice texture to it. It almost reminds me of maybe like an awning fabric, something like that. But just check the label before you purchase the fabric to make sure it's 100% polyester. So let's go ahead and get started in the software program, and I'll show you how I set this file up. Okay, so we will be using the Silhouette Software Business Edition to design this file. We won't be using it to cut the file, just for the designing. So what we need to do is let the software know that's what our intentions are. So under Machine, you want to select None. Under Cutting Mat, choose None. And under Media Size, choose Custom. Now I have an Epson Workforce 7720 that can cut up to 13 by 19 on a single sheet. So I'm going to enter those dimensions in here. And this gives us a template to use as our guide. Now I took one of my placemats and did some, just measured it up to see what that looks like, and I'm going to base this design on those measurements. So I'll go over to the Shapes tool. I'm going to click this shape here and just draw a box. Then I'm going to click on that shape and go up to the width and the height. And for the width, I'm going to put 12.5. And for actually the width is going to be the longer version, 17.5, and the height will be 12.5. Then you can see that I've got these 45-degree angles here, and I would like to increase that. So I'm going to click on a node, hold down my Shift key, and drag my mouse down until I get the shape that I like. Okay, so while we've got this selected, I'm going to open up the Lines panel. And I'm going to increase the thickness of this, so just pull it all the way up. Then I'm going to go to the Offset panel, choose Internal Offset. Then I'm just going to type my own dimension in here, which is going to be 0.75. Click Apply. And actually, now that I'm looking at that, I think I want to make that smaller. So maybe bring it down to about here. That looks good. Select both these items and just center them on the page. Now I want to click on this one I just created, go over to the Color panel, and it needs to be on the solid color, and just click White. Now nothing happened on the screen because we have a white background, but it's important that you apply white to this. Next thing I want to do is go ahead and add a fill pattern to the outer border. So I'll click on that, click on the patterns, and you can see you've got lots of choices here. But I like this one right here. Go to the advanced view, and then you have the ability to scale. So you can scale this up, which that looks really nice, or scale it down. And I think I'm going to change it to 40%. Hit enter on my keyboard. And now that I'm looking at this internal margin or this internal border, I think I'm going to scale it down further, maybe to about here. Again, this is all personal preference, whatever you like. And also, you don't have to use this shape to be the same as this one. You could make this an oval, or you can do it without the 45-degree on the corner. That's completely up to you. Okay, so now I've got the basis of the placemat. Now I need to add my graphic. So I'll go up to File and select Merge. And I'm using this one from Design Bundles. I'll put a link in the description box below. And I'm choosing the SVG version, which is scalable vector, which means I can increase the size of this without losing the quality. So I'm going to bring that up to fill in here. Let's just have a center. Oops, center, center. Okay, great. All right, so now the fabric that I have is kind of a light sand color. So by looking at these colors here, it's a beautiful design, and I do love the color palette, but I think it's going to be a little bit light once I sublimate it onto the fabric. So I'm going to change this up. Now this, some images that you bring in, you may not be able to ungroup. It really is decided by how the artist assembled the file. So on this one, I'm going to click on it, right click, and choose ungroup. So luckily we can go ahead and change the color to this. So I need to go back up to my color palette. I'll choose the eyedropper, and I'm going to choose a color from the background. Okay, so that looks good. So now you can see these are all still grouped together. So I'm going to hit ungroup, and then I need to hit ungroup one more time. All right, so I'll click on this first popsicle, go up to my eyedropper, and I'm going to choose a color from the pattern again. And this one looks pretty good. This one I think I would like to change up. And let's have a look here. Maybe I could try this gold color. That looks pretty good. And then this one, yeah, I need to change that one too. I think that's just going to blend too much into the background. That looks really nice. And then on this green, I'm going to match it up with the pattern also. So I'll click on that, and that looks great. So now our design's done, but I do need to group all this back together. So the easiest way to do that is simply move these two pieces to the side, draw a selection box around your graphic, right click, and then left click on, oops, I hit ungroup again. I need to, let me do that again. Draw a box around the entire graphic, right click, and then left click on group. And now that will all be one piece, and we can move that around. So we'll bring these two pieces back, select everything, center it on the page, and now I want to change the outline color to match this pattern. So I'll click on here to select it, then I'll go up to the lines menu or line styles, click on the color, and I think I will choose, I'll probably choose something here. No, I don't really like that color. Let's go with the green on that one. And on the internal one, I think I like this color right here. So that looks good, looks very summery. And I noticed I did move something out of alignment. So make sure that's all in place. Looks fantastic. So now I'm ready to send this off to the printer. I would save my file first, so go ahead and save your file first and then send it off to the printer. So let me show you how that is set up. I'll go up to File, and I'll choose Print, and I have the Workforce 7720, and it has been converted for sublimation printing. I want to select on the Preferences, and then under Paper Source, I have that in cassette number 2. I need to change it to Landscape. I like plain paper, bright white paper, quality standard for me. Definitely a print preview. Go to More Options. I want take high speed off, mirror image. And I don't think I chose the proper paper. Here we go. Document size is Super B, which is the 13 by 19. All right. Made all those selections, click on OK, and then hit Print. And in a few moments here, you'll see a preview screen come up from the Epson software. I love having a print preview. That way you can check all your settings, make sure your image is mirrored, which this looks good, the paper size is correct. This can save you from making very costly mistakes by wasting ink and paper. So that looks great. Let me go ahead and send that off to the printer. So now I am out in my garage at my heat press, and I've got it preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and the timer is set for 60 seconds. So I'm just prepping the heat press for the sublimation process. I'll be using a piece of MDF board. You could use a stiff cardboard or something similar. The reason I'm using this is because my heat press is 15 inches by 15 inches and my image length is almost 18. So I'm going to have to do 2 presses on this fabric. And by using that MDF board, I can move that fabric across it easily to try and keep it stabilized to avoid any misalignment that could happen. So I'm preparing the fabric with the lint roller, just going over it and removing any lint or dirt that's on there. And then I'm going to press it for about 10 or 15 seconds to remove any moisture or wrinkles. So I'll just put another piece of blowout paper. And press that for about 10 seconds. And then you can see how easy it is to slide that across, and I'll do the other side of the fabric. All right, so that looks good. So the next step is I've taken it off the heat press and I'm just waving it around in the garage just to cool it down. You certainly don't want to put the transfer on it at this point because that could start the sublimation process and you could get some ghosting. So now the fabric has cooled down enough and I'm going to place the transfer on top of it. And what I've done is I've cut the fabric slightly larger than my transfer, probably about an inch, at least an inch all around bigger than I need. And then just using heat tape, I'm going to secure that transfer to the fabric. Now the most challenging part for me was trying to align this underneath my heat press. I wanted to make sure that it was centered as much as possible so that the heat platen, I didn't want to get uneven heat or pressure. So I was trying to center it underneath the heat platen. All right, so I'm not quite sure that I've got it there. So just take a few minutes just to make minor adjustments to get that centered as best as possible. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So this will be the first half, will be pressed for 60 seconds at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And I can see that that did sublimate correctly. And I'm just going to scoot it over, and then I'll do the exact same thing to the other side of the design. So another 60 seconds. And there we go. So you can see the steam rising off of that. There must have been some moisture in there. So I'm trying to lift up the corner. It's really, really hot. And I'm going to pull that away. And great, so I've got nice vibrant colors. That's always what you like in sublimation. And I got great coverage. So I'm very happy with this. So I'll let this cool down for a few minutes and then I will show you how I cut away the excess fabric. To trim away the excess fabric, I'll be using a rotary cutter and a quilting ruler. And what I like about this ruler, it has 1/4 inch measurements on it. So you could trim directly against the colored border, or what I'm going to do is measure 1/4 inch away from the colored border and then make my trim. So this is essentially going to give me another border. So I'll start by doing the corners first. And I really like this rotary cutter. I'll put a link in the description box below. What I like about it is it's pressure sensitive, so you don't have to lock the blade in place. It retracts when you're not using it, and then when you add pressure, like I'm doing right now, that exposes the blade. So it makes it nice and safe too. You don't have to worry about cutting yourself. So that's the first 2 corners and one side done. And I'll repeat that process on the other side. So I could see using this fabric for a lot of different things. You could make matching coasters to go with this. You could use, or you could do it for special occasions. If it's somebody's birthday, you could make a special mat for them, or one that the cake might sit on. You could make them as like a bar mat even. So if somebody likes to make a certain drink, you can maybe put a photograph or a picture of that cocktail and then the recipe to create it. You could use this for bookmarks. You can use it for the garden flags. I think this is pretty nice fabric, and like I said, I purchased it as a remnant, so it wasn't expensive, and it sublimates beautifully. So I'm almost done here. Just got that last long side to do. So now that all the fabric has been trimmed away, let's take a closer look at the finished placemat. I think it turned out really well. It got really nice vibrant colors, even though it's on that sandy color background. The design colors came out very close to what I had on my screen, so I'm always happy about that. So I hope that you've enjoyed this project. I'm always interested to see your comments below. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll be notified when I have new videos. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.